Right then, hello, welcome and settle down. Grab a cup of tea, maybe a biscuit, a hobnob. Naturally, none of that fancy foreign muck, because we are about to have a proper chinwag. Ever get the feeling things are going a bit pear-shaped? As if someone has been fiddling with the controls and now the telly is showing upside down kangaroos instead of the football? Well, you might just be onto something. And that something, my friends, might just be this whole kerfuffle about wokeism, ideology and globalism. Now, I have been poring over this rather impressive report. Yes, even us old blokes can read, thank you very much. About whether these three blighters are actually spanner in the works in our beloved nations. Besides, blimey, it is a right rabbit hole this is. So, let us have a proper look, shall we? No jargon, no fancy pants university talk, just good old common sense, hopefully. First up, wokeism. Sounds like a dodgy brand of coffee, doesn't it? Try our new woke blend, guaranteed to make you aware. Turns out it's a bit more complicated than that. Apparently it started with our American cousins, a way for folks to be aware of racial prejudice. Fair enough, you would think. However, like a rogue tomato plant in your greenhouse, it has grown a bit wild, doesn't it? Now, it seems to cover everything from what pronouns you use to whether you have the right kind of guilt about things, which happened before you were even a twinkle in your granddad's eye. This report, rather diligently, I must say, points out how some folks reckon this wokeism is muzzling free speech. You cannot sneeze these days without someone accusing you of microaggression or demanding you be cancelled. Cancelled sounds like a rubbish TV show getting the boot, not a human being daring to have a slightly different opinion. Can you remember when you could have a proper argument down the pub without the fear of your entire life being scrutinised on Twitter or X? I still remember anyways. This report even mentions poor old Nagamusheti getting stick for commenting on Trump's tweets on the BBC. Honestly, the world's gone mad. Now, there is this whole business about meritocracy going out of the window. Now, I am a firm believer in a fair crack of the whip. The best person for the job, regardless of what they look like or who their mates are. Nevertheless, some argue this woke obsession with ticking boxes for diversity, equality and inclusion, catchy acronym anyway, is putting the cart before the horse. This report even touches on the military lowering fitness standards. Blimey, you want your soldiers fit as a butcher's dog, not worrying about whether they have the right demographic profile. Furthermore, do not even get me started on blokes in women's sports. It is just not cricket, is it? Now, let us chew on ideology. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? Something like lurking in the attic. Turns out it's just a fancy word for a set of beliefs. We do all have them, haven't we? Whether you're a staunch Tory, a raving Labour supporter or one of those green types who hug trees, no offence if you are, you have your ideology. The trouble starts, according to this report, when these ideologies become a bit fundamentalist. Like those blokes who think the world will end on next Tuesday. Remember, history is littered with dodgy ideologies. Communism sounded good on paper, sharing everything, but ended up with more famine than a bad harvest season. Fascism, all that shouting and marching led to a right old mess, didn't it? Even good old nationalism, that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when England wins at something, rare I know, can turn nasty if you're not careful, leading to all sorts of us and them nonsense. This report even slyly mentions how some right-wing ideologies are a bit sniffy about climate change and public health. Moreover, let us not forget the leftists, sometimes carried away with their regulations and identity politics. It is a tightrope walk, this ideology business. Right, deep breath. Now, for the big one. Globalism sounds like a disease you catch on holiday. However, basically, it is the world getting all tangled up together with trade, travel, and the internet making us all friends with folks we would normally never meet or even want to. Now, on the other hand, you can get your bananas all year round, and that is a definite plus. This report even talks about cheaper goods and faster economic growth. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? Nevertheless, hold your horses. This report also highlights the grumbles, all those jobs that went overseas. Remember when Britain actually made things? Now it is all designed in Britain, made in somewhere else. In addition, this race to the bottom with wages, not exactly fair for the bloke down the road trying to feed his family. Then there is the sovereignty issue. All these international agreements feels like we are losing control, does it not? It is as if your television remote controller has been nicked by someone in Brussels. Moreover, do not even get me started on the immigration debate, stirring up more trouble than a wasp's nest at a picnic. Right, enough doom and gloom. Fancy a biscuit? Go on, you deserve it. This is heavy stuff, this thinking. Now, where were we? Ah yes, the alleged destruction. This report, to its credit, does try to be fair. It points out that wokeism can actually be a good thing, making us more aware of injustice and giving a voice to those who have not had one. Ideologies, it says, are not all bad. Democracy, environmentation, even a bit of national pride can be alright in moderation. Moreover, globalism, well, it is not all bad bananas and cheap electronics. It has helped lift millions out of poverty and tackle global problems like pandemics. Remember those? Nevertheless, here is a rub. It is all about balance. Too much of anything can be a bad thing, like too much gravy on your Sunday roast. Wokeism becomes a problem when it shuts down debate and punishes people for honest mistakes. Ideologies become dangerous when they are rigid and intolerant of who does not toe the line. Globalism, well, it needs to work for everyone, not just the big corporations and the blokes at the top. So, are these three the destroyers of nations? Well, the jury is still out. However, this report lays out a compelling case that, in their extreme forms, they certainly have the potential to cause a right old mess. It is like having a powerful tool. It can build a house or knock one down, depending on who is wielding it. Now, for the twist. Here is the thing, this report really hammered home for me. These are not some alien forces that are landing from Mars. We are doing this to ourselves. These woke ideas, these ideologies that push for globalism, human beings by our choices and our beliefs drive them all. So if things are going a bit wonky, maybe we need to look in the mirror, not just pointing fingers at abstract isms. Right, that is about the long and short of it according to this rather thorough report. It is a lot to chew on. However, it does make you think, doesn't it? Maybe next time you hear someone banging on about wokeness or globalists, you will have a bit more to say than just tutting and reaching for another biscuit. So, what do you reckon? Are we heading for the knacker's yard, or can we pull ourselves back from the brink? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It would give me something to do besides shouting at the telly during question time. Moreover, if you found this rambling of an old codger even remotely interesting, give this video a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe to the channel. Cheers for listening, and do not forget to stay, well, just stay sensible, eh? Bye bye.